Yes, I am back. Finally, talking the One Piece anime yet again. I apologize for the wait. Um, it's so funny. I did all this catching up. I slack off on the One Piece episodes. I get behind. I literally this entire weekend, I catch up finally with the One Piece anime. Now, if you're wondering, okay, how the hell were you so behind with the One Piece anime? Listen, obviously work somewhat gets in the way, and then also I'm getting tired, and then again I've just been binge playing. I've been trying to do my time management in terms of on my weekends, the days I actually have free and I'm not in an office from 9 to 6 o'clock. um Geez Louise, which is hell enough when it within itself, right? And then I want to equal that out by trying to play basically Stellar Blade, the newest hit game that's coming out and stuff like that. So it's like, I want to play these games. I want to enjoy the time, the free time I have, and then I keep forgetting, like, oh shit, that's right. I got also cater to my YouTube channel that I got to as well with all the animes that I like to watch and talk about and things like that. So listen, there's that and everything. So yes, One Piece. I'm finally back. Now listen, this episode review is only going to contain really mostly talking points from this week's episode. Yes, I know I missed like the last 4 or 5 episodes. I'll throw them some freaking catch-up hints. So, okay, some catch-up hints, some catch-up points and things like that to kind of progress the story and move on and things like that. Really just which is some big important major points, which is only like a tiny bit of information. So one, we already know Luffy beat Lucci, confirmed. So Gear 5 Luffy is stronger than awakened form, devil fruit, leopard form Lucci. Which is crazy to think about when you think about it after all this time it has passed. It is still relatively crazy that okay, Luffy is on a whole nother freaking level. He is on a whole nother level compared to what he was literally 2 arcs ago. Literally. Did not for Gear 5. Who knows how strong he probably ain't is, but you get my point anyways. So, okay, that whole thing, they end up escaping and they end up going to Punk Records, Vegapunk's basically main headquarters. Um Bonnie leaves and she ends up running into Vegapunk. And she, for basically like 3 or 4 episodes, she chases him down to try because she's trying to kill this guy, and then it leads into a scene from last week where eventually Bonnie comes, Bonnie turns Vegapunk into like a child and basically is like, I'm gonna kill you for freaking, basically making my dad not human anymore. And Vegapunk goes on to say, telling Bonnie, listen, I didn't forcibly do this. This was freaking Kuma's choice. Kuma said he wanted me to do this to him. So if there's anybody to blame your old man, essentially. Like, I didn't want to do this. I was vehemently against doing what he wanted me to do, but he just didn't listen. Then next thing you know, this alarm goes off and Bonnie looks at sees this door. Now, we get a flashback scene where Vegapunk is talking to Kuma in the past. I'm guessing before this operation to turn him into an android, aka basically the pacifista. And basically he starts sprouting about like, well, you see, these memories and things like that, your power obviously brings out pain, but who knows, maybe your powers could also have imagery in it, like basically memories and stuff like that. And basically he proclaims later on, so I'm like, hey, do you think you can share your memories with me? Just pretty promise. And at first Kuma's not like down to do this. Now how the reasoning behind why Kuma gave his memories, who knows. Now Bonnie walks into this room and she sees this. Now Vegapunk's like, Bonnie, don't go in there, don't go in there. And basically he also tells her like, don't touch it. But Bonnie's like, listen, I know my father well enough. This isn't just his regular like paw fruit abilities that would hold in pain or anything. This stuff is holding his memories. So that's where we left off. We are left off on that cliffhanger. So I'm guessing if Bonnie touches this, well, again, I read the manga, so I know what happens and I know what head at the time and things like that. But just speaking for my anime only people, obviously, you would think if Bonnie touches this, maybe she will start to see Kuma's memories and start to get the understanding, the truth of why Kuma ended up becoming a pacifista. So, there's that, which, of course, that's going to lead into a flashback arc right then and there within itself. So you know that's going to be coming. So which means we're going to be getting flashbacks intercolliding with the current stuff, and you know that's going to be it to where people are like, we want to see current stuff. We want to see current stuff. While people are like, we want to see flashback stuff. Listen, like I said, the anime needs to draw this whole shit out as long as they possibly can. Because again, like I said it before, I say it again on many One Piece episode reviews. The anime right now is literally around the corner from where the manga is at right now. Now the manga is currently on break, I think for a week, and then it'll come back actually next week. But you get my point. Like, listen, it's like let's just hope the anime doesn't catch up so close to the point where the anime has to go on hiatus or go on break for a few weeks just so the manga can get further ahead, so then the anime can be able to adapt more content. That's my biggest fear that will happen, because I do want to see these amazing moments that I'm reading in the manga animated. But if we get so close to the point where it's like, all right, anime, you need to take a damn break for a bit, aka a la, like, I guess you could say Black Clover to an extent with what's going on with their anime. I personally think they're on hiatus until probably the story finishes, and then they'll come back. But you get my point. I hope, and I know people say always shit on the One Piece pacing of how bad the pacing of the anime is, but listen, Toei's probably looking at this from a standpoint is like, well, we want the One Piece anime to be a weekly running thing. Even though you can make the argument it should be a seasonal thing, it would actually give the animators a lot more time to rest up and not work on One Piece stuff. And then plus, it just be better so the manga can get further ahead. And who knows, maybe the anime can just adapt one whole arc and it doesn't have to be a constant thing every week. But, you just hope that, like, the anime doesn't get so close to where the manga's at, to the point where Toei's got to announce, like, okay, hey, we got to go on. One Piece is going to be on infinite hiatus until there's more content to adapt from the manga. Because I have a feeling that's going to be the case. Unless they decide to do, like, some gigantic filler arc, which I guess if they want to do one big filler arc, it will piss off the fan base. But, if they do an abhorrent and really relatively weirdly timely placed filler arc, that could create time for some padding for the manga to get further ahead and stuff like that. But look, the only, like, I guess offshoot filler arc they did was the freaking arc where they snuck into the one marine base that isn't even freaking manga canon. It's an anime original arc. So maybe eventually by the time Egghead arc concludes, maybe they will be like, all right, we're kind of pushing the manga boundaries, so it's probably not be favorable, but let's do some sort of filler arc or something like that. And who knows, maybe they could do a filler arc not just about the Straw Hats. Maybe they can do a filler arc really truly kind of based on maybe outside worlds, with how crazy the world is getting on the outside. Maybe it can dive into some characters that obviously they're not being dived into in the manga because, well, maybe Oda just doesn't want to go and focus on them at that current point in time, and rather do that in flashback portion. But who knows? I'd honestly be down for that if it's like a filler arc and we focus on a different One Piece character and seeing what's been going on with them in the world while everything's been going crazy. So that's kind of the thing right then and there. Anyways, sorry to go off on that tangent. I'm just speaking of that. So, all right, the Bonnie Kuma stuff. Okay, got taken care of that. I'm trying to think of anything else major that happened in the last few weeks of the One Piece show or the One Piece anime that I'm trying to think of as I'm looking. No, not really. The thing is, which I'll talk about in this week's episode too, of the cliffhanger that's we left off on this. We see to where Kizaru, he's headed on his way to Egghead. Kizaru's headed on his way to Egghead, so that's crazy. Um, what is it? The Frontier Dome, it ended off being shut off, but eventually, out of weird timing, the Frontier Dome's defenses go right back down. So what you have is you have Lucci, Kaku, and Stussy end up showing up to the and yeah, actually end up showing up to the top where the Frontier Dome is at, and they're basically on the doorsteps of Vegapunk's basically his main headquarters, essentially. So they're right then and there. And this leads into them seeing the Straw Hats, the Sunny. They have it to where Kaku looks like to destroy it, but then eventually Zoro blocks it, and he starts fighting with Kaku. So that's kind of the thing. And to be honest, that's basically what the last few episodes have been combined about. Really, like it's like I was thinking like I was gonna go talk about a bunch of other stuff. I gotta see actually, like I gotta pull up some of these episodes and see like what the heck is going on. I'm trying to look through these episodes, see what I've missed. Oh, Luffy and the others, they find I forgot Luffy actually ended up running into the crew and everything. So the crew is reunited, well, with the exception of Zoro and Brook, they're all reunited again. I'm trying to think. I'm looking. Oh, how am I forgetting some of the most important parts? I'm trying to hold on. I'm looking through the episodes. Oh, I forgot. Okay, number one, another big important part. We see Kuma's actual real body. He went to he's at the red port right now, and he's climbing up the red line. And he's trying to head up to Marijua. Why is he doing that? I have no clue. He just left the Revolutionary Army. He gets to the Sabari Archipelago, and he crashes into the red line, and then he just starts climbing. Right now, the Marines are shooting him down. They did end up shooting him down off the red line, but it looks like he's going to be on the attack. I forgot to mention. Thank goodness I remember that the last second. Now looking through the episode and stuff like that. So you have that happening. We do see Kid. We see Eustace Kid showing up, and the thing is they're actually approaching an island, and the island that they are potentially approaching is Elbaf, the home of the giants. So their path ended up taking them to Elbaf, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. So Law got the worst deal out of all because he ended up running into freaking Blackbeard out of all the people. Luffy ended up going maybe a good direction for him somewhat, because he went to Egghead and he ran into Vegapunk, while, well, you have it to where Kid is going to Elbaf, and that might be a little bit of a bad thing because, okay, we know what's on Elbaf, and that's only going to make him closer to getting to the One Piece, so that's crazy within, and he's obviously happy. So that's kind of the thing right then and there. Now, we actually focus on what's going on with the Navy, and I can't believe I forgot to mention this, but Garp ends up showing up, and he's like, all right, let's go get Captain Kobe and everything. So that's another thing that happened that is like, okay, we see what's going on there too. So that's cool. So Garp is back to try to save Kobe, and yeah, so we'll see. And yeah, that's basically anything that I talked about, that I all covered from the last 3-4 episodes that I've missed. Again, if there's anything I left out that I probably should have talked about, even if you want me to talk about more in depth about, then by all means, please let me know in the comment section. All right, this week, episode 1005. That's kind of the thing right then and there. Now, last week, we ended up getting left off on a cliffhanger, where during the fight between Zoro and Kaku, and the thing is, we also see Kaku has an awakened form in his giraffe form too. But we have it to where, and then the Seraphims end up showing up, right? So the Seraphims actually showed up at the last second, before the Frontier Dome basically closed off, right? And basically, one CP0 is like, or well, really Lucci's like, what the hell are these guys doing here? We didn't order these guys to join us. Now we focus on Shaka ends up saying because they end up seeing like the Seraphims are there, and he's like, well, actually the Seraphims somewhat do have are somewhat programmed to have self-thinking for themselves, so they probably knew the Frontier Dome was going to be closing up soon, and they're just like, well, out of precautions, let's just head up there and follow them. So we get some information that the Seraphims, albeit they are controlled by a set of rules and commands, they still have somewhat a mind of their own, so they're still somewhat their own beings. And it's already we know that these Seraphims, they have their own personalities. We saw the Boa Hancock one like actually have a character and a personality because Jinbei complimented her. She was like, oh, shut up, don't do that. So clearly they're somewhat alive, and they're somewhat like, I guess, a living being instead of just a robot. I guess you can say, and they're more of androids than anything. That's really the thing. I don't know what you can say about the typical PX1 pacifistas. If anything, the PX1 pacifistas are more robots than androids. But these ones, I guess you can clearly say like they're androids if they have some sense of thinking, to know ahead of time. So, and that's basically there. It is cool to see Zoro fight Kaku again. We really don't get a winner. It's kind of like drawn out to, I guess you can kind of say it's kind of like, okay, a kind of a bit of a like draw, because this is what happens next. But listen, I think Zoro could be able to beat Kaku now. He's a lot stronger. You would think with everything he's got in his plus, he's got Enma now, and it looked like he was gonna get serious. But then lo and behold, that's when Stussy ends up getting involved. She ends up just going in at Kaku. She bites him, and then she just grows out these freaking wings. She has vampire-looking teeth, and Lucci's seeing this, and he's like, Kaku. And for like the first time ever in the One Piece media, you see Lucci was probably one of the most shocked expressions of something he did not see genuinely coming, because he's your typical like, okay, I might predict for this. He did not predict for this. He did not predict for this at all. So he is absolutely shocked by this. So he is shocked by this. He is legitimately shocked by this. Then he goes into attack. Just as one bite alone, Stussy knocks out Kaku with utter ease, just like that, one bite. Next thing you know, she ends up going. Lucci goes up at Stussy, and the thing is, Stussy is like, well, I prepared for this because I knew I couldn't take you guys down together, so I will, do this. It looks like freaking Lucci got Stussy, but she vanished. She moved so fast that Lucci didn't see. And the thing is, Lucci's questioning Stussy like, why are you doing this? What the hell are you doing this? She ends up coming up behind Lucci. She uses her lipstick, which is made of sea prism stone. Her own lipstick is made of sea prism stone. She stabs it on Lucci so he can't activate his devil fruit abilities. And then she bites down on him, knocking him unconscious. Absolute wild scene. When I read this in the manga, I was like, what in the blue hell? So that we get left off on that cliffhanger right then and there. Going into this episode, we find out that Stussy is an actual legitimate spy. She is a spy for Vegapunk. So she's been working alongside Vegapunk this entire time. And the real thing is, her real full name is called Miss Buckingham Stussy. And it says she is a clone of the MADS organization. AKA, if you guys don't remember what MADS is, it's the group formed, which was Caesar Clown, Sanji's dad, Judge, and then Vegapunk himself as well. So this Stussy is an actual clone. of what we will see later on, Miss Buckingham's Stussy or Stussy at the end of the episode. So clones are a thing in this One Piece universe. Clones are a thing. Vegapunk, along with the help of Judge and Caesar, made an actual clone of an actual other living person. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So it only just shows the feat of how smart Vegapunk, Judge, and Caesar all combined can do. They can make, and actually, I can't say clones because Judge can actually make clones. Most of the Germa 66 are clones. Really, they are clones. You know. So really, you have to imagine from what Judge got, that's probably how Judge was able to make those other Germa 66 clones, right? Stussy was probably like one of the first clones in the One Piece world. So this is just crazy. Just from a lore building aspect, absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And this entire time, from the moment we saw Stussy in Whole Cake Island arc, I forgot when she was first introduced, but she was a spy this entire time. She was a spy this entire time. Basically a spy inside the world government. So she could have legitimately, if she found anything out, she was probably legitimately feeding information to Vegapunk. And she probably also made Vegapunk aware, like saying, listen, hey, we're coming after you. The world government's coming after you to go kill you. You might want to prepare a way to try to escape Egghead because they are coming after your head. Luckily enough, Luffy got to Egghead in the nick of time, and Vegapunk's probably like, oh, thank God, a pirate's here. Monkey, and especially it's Monkey D. Luffy out of everybody, the biggest pirate name in the world right now. Let me ask him if I can freaking go on a ship and he can take me away from here. So clearly, Stussy was the person from the inside, and maybe that was the original plan. Stussy was gonna freaking end up going with Kaku and Lucci, and eventually she was gonna backstab them, you know, take them out, and then she was going to escape with Vegapunk, probably. And then next thing you know, that's what's gonna happen right then and there, and then Vegapunk will be on the run for a while and maybe go out hiding. I would guess since he has a connection with Dragon, he probably would go and see if he can find the Revolutionary Army wherever they're at, right? Or just stay hidden, or if any other connections he knows of, he'll probably stay hidden. So maybe if he couldn't find Revolutionary Army, maybe he would go maybe to Judge and Germa 66. If he could find them, who knows? Who knows? But maybe that was going to be the original plan, that Stussy was going to be his backup plan, and it's like, all right, Stussy, I'm going to need you to take them out so then we can be able to escape, right? But luckily, in the nick of time, Luffy ended up going to Egghead, so in a weird way, that only helps him out even further. Anyway, Stussy tells Zoro and Brook, listen, you got nothing to fear. I'm on your guys' side. I'm actually a spy for Vegapunk, so you have nothing to worry about. Now, in the meantime, I forgot to mention, last week they also ordered the Seraphims, Lucci did, to start attacking the Frontier Dome base, essentially. Right, so they're just firing off beams and attacks and everything. Now you have it to where Lilith and Edison, they end up going out to try to go like get in control, because remember the whole hierarchy of the Seraphims. You know, Vegapunk has hierarchy to tell the Seraphims what to do over CP0. So they're going out there to do that. Sanji and not Brooke, Sanji and Frankie, they end up going out there to back them up, which is, it's funny because, you know, when they're all getting cornered, Zoro and Brooke are cornered by the Seraphims and CP0. Sanji's like, well, you know, if Mosshead dies, that's actually not too freaking bad. And Nami's like, how could you say that about your own damn freaking crewmate? You go get your ass out there and you go help him. And then obviously Sanji's like, yes, Nami-san, you can command me to do whatever you want to do, because this man's just a little simp. My God, I'm like, I saw that scene, I'm like, Sanji don't even give a shit that if Zoro were to die. He's like, he honestly be happy if he were to die. That's how much Sanji hates Zoro. That's how much Sanji hates Zoro. He's willing to say like, oh, Zoro would die? Who cares? Whatever. It's too bad, but who cares? You know, whatever. Mosshead is Mosshead. That's kind of fucked up, man. I'm sorry, I can't. That's fucked up. So, anyways, what happens is Edison and Lilith, they do get out there. Now, while the freaking Seraphim are taking out, first Lilith ends up going and screaming out to the Seraphim like, "Hey, Seraphim, we need you to shut off and stop attacking." But before she can even say stop attacking, the Mihawk looking one catches Lilith's eyes and he slashes. Now Lilith sees this at the last second. She's like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna die." Luckily, Zoro comes in, he deflects the attack, and then he starts scrapping with the Mihawk looking one, which is just badass because it's like, okay, technically this is a tease for Zoro versus Mihawk if this ever happens. Again, I don't know, with the fact that technically Mihawk doesn't work for the government anymore as a warlord. Who knows if we'll ever get that matchup? I hope out of necessity we still get that matchup as a thing. It's still a thing that, you know, obviously Oda has teased. It should happen again, but we don't know. Obviously, in order for Zoro to be the greatest swordsman in the world, he has to beat Mihawk, so we'll see. But you get a funny moment where Lilith thought she was actually gonna die, so you kind of see her crying. But then Edison comes up and he's like, "Hey, Seraphim, you need to stop attacking now." But then this attack happens because the I think it was the Boa Hancock Seraphim that attacked Edison, and it looked like Edison gets blown to bits. But luckily, Sanji ended up saving Edison. What's his face? Frankie ended up saving Lilith from falling after the explosion, and the Seraphims end up shutting down. They're under their control again, so that's kind of the thing, right then and there, right? So, everything's all chill, everything's all cool as can be. And things like that. We do focus on Luffy. Luffy's trying to look for Vegapunk because he's like, well, you know, Vegapunk, look, we need to get out of here so we can set sail and get you out of here safely, right? So he's looking for Vegapunk. Everything's chill and everything. You know, they explain to the Straw Hats that Stussy is a spy and everything. So yes, the title of the episode, Stussy is Sussy, is actually true. So yeah, Stussy is Sussy. I know. That phrase is great. That phrase is like A+ out of A+. So that's kind of the thing right there and there. Now, we actually cut to outside world stuff, and we actually covered a Marco. Marco is finally back in Whitebeard's hometown, and the residents of Whitebeard's hometown ends up telling him like, "Hey, listen, I'm glad you're back, Marco. This crazy thing happened." So while Marco was gone in Wano, or if not coming back from Wano, we have it to where essentially the Marines start attacking Whitebeard's hometown, right? And you see a guy with like the ears. It's funny because I was watching this episode alongside my friend the Red Wolf, who typically joins up on other videos for other reviews and things like that I have on the channel, and he legitimately thought it was Nezu from the Arlong Park arc. When he was colluding with Arlong, he legitimately thought, he was like, "Oh my god, don't tell me who I think it is." It's a completely different looking guy. It doesn't look like him, but he has the same cat ears, and he even has whiskers too. So we don't know if it's like the same actual dude, but who knows? It might be, because 2 years have flown by, but it wouldn't shock me if it was the same guy, because he was doing despicable things. But he was basically holding the citizens hostage and like, "Listen, where's Whitebeard's treasure? If not, we're gonna kill you guys." And this man literally got Marines to hold up like this old lady, and they were literally gonna shoot her down. Now the residents say like, yeah, this big gigantic man ended up showing up, which is Weevil. Weevil ended up showing up, former warlord. Newgate Weevil ended up showing up. He ended up attacking the Marines and chasing them off. Now the Marines are like, "Listen, you know, former 7 Warlord of the Sea, Weevil Newgate, he on the island that Whitebeard's from, right? We need backup, immediate support, essentially." So what then happens is we cut back to the present. Mark was like, "Really? Weevil did that? Wow. I guess he's a stuck-up guy," and apparently it's like the residents actually like Weevil now, so they appreciate it. But this is when we have it to where Miss Buckingham ends up showing up, And she's like, Marco, I've known you for a long time. I know you don't believe that I'm Whitebeard's wife, but listen, I need you to do me a favor because, listen, Weevil did you a big favor when you were gone, and you need to go save his ass. Go save his ass, essentially. And that's when we get the full credit thing of her name, and it says self-proclaimed mad scientist, Miss Buckingham Stussy. So, aka, for people that are still lost in the mind, okay, wait, there's Stussy over here, but there's Stussy over here. Again, like I mentioned, if you're an anime only, you're confused. Manga people know this. Anime only people. The Stussy we see with the straw hats, that is an actual clone, like I mentioned earlier in the video. That is a clone of Stussy. That is a clone of this Stussy we're seeing with Marco and Whitebeard, the one that proclaims that she is Whitebeard's wife, right? That is the original. This is the real Miss Buckingham Stussy. So what you see out of the current Stussy with the straw hats, that's what she probably looked like in the past. A very attractive lady. Also, I forgot to make a mention. She was a part of the Rocks Pirates, and we know Whitebeard was a part of the Rocks Pirates. So I'm guessing there has to be some truth to the fact that, okay, Whitebeard must have married Stussy, or this is actually like his actual wife. It would make sense because I guess you could say I could see him potentially wanting, because he always wanted to have a family and everything. So it makes sense why he probably would maybe get with one of his crewmates. So we find out that Stussy was also on the maps, on the Rocks crew. So in her prime, she was a pirate. She was on the Rocks Pirates crew, which the only best guess makes it a lot more obvious that, okay, maybe there is truth to the fact that she is Whitebeard's wife. The only thing, obviously, is Weevil actually Whitebeard's kid? And the real Stussy is like, listen, I know you don't believe Weevil is, Whitebeard's son, but I got the evidence to back it up. We just got to go find the one guy. And I know the one guy that will tell you, and that's Dr. Vegapunk. So you would have to imagine she knows Dr. Vegapunk because even in her title card, it says self-proclaimed mad scientist. And plus with the fact that there's an actual clone of her running around the world government, she had to have basically gotten DNA from, they probably had Caesar, Judge, and Vegapunk had to have gotten DNA from her to even be able to create a clone of what she used to look like, right? So she clearly knows Vegapunk, and she would know, okay, this is actually, and Vegapunk would maybe even have the DNA records to prove that Weevil is actually Whitebeard's son. That's crazy enough within itself. So Weevil ends up getting captured, actually, and he ended up getting captured by Admiral Ryokugugu, the green guy who we saw at the end of the Wano arc, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. So Marco needs to go save Weevil, which only means, okay, now he's gonna have to leave the island again, which now makes Whitebeard's hometown even more vulnerable than it already is. So we don't know if Marco's gonna find somebody to try to be like, hey, can you watch over this island real quick? Do me a favor or something like that. Maybe he'll get some members of the Whitebeard crew that are all scattered around. Maybe he'd be like, hey, I gotta go save blah blah blah's our pop's apparent son. But yeah, that's kind of the thing right then and there. So that's the thing. And then we get left off on a massive cliffhanger where we go back to the Navy ship where that Kizaru's on, and he's basically preparing like tea or coffee for this individual. And the individual he's preparing tea for is none other than Saint J. Garcia Saturn. Correct me if I'm wrong, which I will go back to the episode at the end to prove that. Let's see. Yes, Saint J. Garcia Saturn of the Five Elders, aka the Five Gorosei. He is on a ship with Kizaru, 2 Egghead, And Kizaru is asking him like, "Hey, you know Dr. Vegapunk, right? Yeah, have you met him?" And Saturn is like, "Yes, I have met him a very long time ago." And then hold on. He goes on to say, "I truly feel what has happened is a shame." And that's where the episode concludes. You get your to be continued screen, and that's absolutely crazy. Now, when I saw this in the manga, I was absolutely blown away. It was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh shit. We're actually seeing a member of the Five Gorosei leaving Marijua to handle in affairs pertaining to what's going on in the One Piece world. You know shit just got real. If a member of the Five Gorosei is like, all right, I need to take this shit into my own hands. I can't fuck around. The Straw Hats are here, Vegapunk's here, and with the fact that Luffy got the freaking Sun God Devil Fruit ability, it's time to kill two birds with one stone, essentially. So he ended up going down with Kizaru. So if the Straw Hats don't escape Egghead right now, they will run into not only Kizaru, the Admiral, they'll run into a member of the Five Gorosei, and we don't know how strong the members of the Five Gorosei are. Now, if you read the manga, clearly you know. But for anime onlys, it's just groundbreaking. It's just absolutely groundbreaking. Okay. This is happening right now. This is happening. This isn't the final. See, this is Final Saga shit. This is Final Saga shit. You don't see one of the members of the Five Gorosei we've been seeing in multiple arcs just being seen there in Marijua, just sitting there and having these debates, talking about world events in One Piece, and having a meeting with Shanks too. And next thing you know, you have one of them coming down to the One Piece world. Basically like, alright, it's time to freaking take these people out now. I can't mess around. We can't make Master Eam upset. We cannot make Master Eam upset. So, absolutely groundbreaking. And that's where the episode ends. No anime break next week. So, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, last few bits of One Piece animes or episodes have been great. And this again just makes me even more hyped to see more One Piece and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyways, we're gonna get it. I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode and some of the other points I mentioned about the previous weeks of One Piece stuff down in the comment section. Your thoughts and stuff like that. Hit the subscribe button if you want to get more One Piece content or any other anime content, whether it's My Hero, Dragon Ball, whenever that comes back. Kaiju number 8. I'm trying to think. Sandland. I'm gonna do a Sandland episode review. That's probably gonna go up tomorrow. Stuff like that. Demon Slayer review will be tomorrow. Just for thing, those stuff will be coming out later in the day. I have to go work on my Sunday afternoon. Because I have to go work a actual game. I'll be working a game tomorrow when I get home. I hope I get home at like no later than 4, but I feel I'm gonna get home at 5. I'll do my reviews for everything I need to do my reviews of, and then boom, I will upload them to YouTube and things like that. So they might be back to back, honestly in your inboxes. But anyways, that's all I gotta say. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more content. And that's basically it. Till then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day, night, or when you end this video. Till then, guys, peace.